Graphing inequalities on a number line requires you to know these symbols. What you're going to see is problems that look something like this. They'll say x is greater than 3. And because we are going to use these symbols, you need to be very familiar with them. When there is no line underneath this, this is just a greater than sign. And what that means for us is we go to the number 3 and we create an open circle. That means 3 is not included. And if I think about numbers that are larger than 3, I would say 4, 5, 6, anything in here as well, a decimal or a fraction, 3.1, 3 7/8, all of that would be included. So I would grab my highlighter and shade everything to the right. And that lets me know that this infinitely goes in this direction. Another example, if you see something that says x is less than or equal to -2, that means I need to go to -2. And because it is included, what I need this time is what's called a closed circle. So this would be shaded in. And I look at the numbers that are less than -2, it'd be -3, -4, and everything in this direction. So I shade to the left. The difference is when there is a line, you want a closed circle. When there is no line, you want an open circle. So I'm going to give you another problem here. This problem is going to say x plus 2 is greater than or equal to 9. If I look at this, when we have an equation, the difference between an equation and an inequality is an equation only has one correct answer. If this said x plus 2 equals 9, I would subtract 2 from both sides. This would cancel out, and 9 minus 2 is equal to 7. 7 would be the only correct answer, and I would be done there. The difference here, when I have x plus 2 is greater than or equal to 9, is there is multiple correct answers. I would solve this the same way. I would say x plus 2 is greater than or equal to 9. I still want to subtract 2 from both sides. This would cancel out. And then 9 minus 2 is 7. I drop down the x, and then I drop down the greater than or equal to sign. I go to the number 7, and I remember that I want a closed circle. I'm sorry, I went to the number 8 there. So I want to go to the number 7, and I want a closed circle because 7 is included. And then I want to take everything to the right of 7 and shade it in. One more example here. You may see something that says 3x plus 2 is less than 8. So I look at these inequalities the same way I would look at an equation. And what I'm trying to do is isolate the variable still. That means I want to take this letter and get it by itself by doing the opposite operations. So the first thing I would look at is this plus 2, and I would subtract 2 from both sides. This would cancel out, and I would be left with 3x is less than 8 minus 2 is 6. From here, the inverse operation of multiplication is division. So I would divide by 3 on both sides. This would cancel out, and I would be left with x is less than 2. And I look, there is no line underneath this. So I want to go to the number 2 on an open circle. And I want to shade everything to the left here. It means all of these numbers are included. Anything that is smaller than 2 does count. I'm gonna do one example that I want you to try. So look here, we got x is greater than or equal to -5. I want for you to pause the video right here and see if you can graph this. What I want to do is look at the number -5. I'm going to go there and I'm going to put a dot here, but this should be a closed circle, meaning the number -5 is included. And this is a greater than or equal to sign. Because this line is here, I close the circle, but because it is greater than, I want to take all of the numbers to the right of it and shade this in. One last example. If you see 2x plus 4 is greater than 2. I want you to pause the video here and see if you can solve this. You rewrite the problem that says 2x plus 4 is greater than 2. And keep in mind, the only thing important to me here is this x. So I want to isolate that by doing the opposite steps. So the first thing I'm going to do is subtract 4 on both sides. This cancels out. I'm left with 2x is greater than -2. Divide by 2 on both sides. This would cancel out, and I'm left with x is greater than -1. This is where I focus, so I'm going to go to the number -1. I notice there is no line underneath this, so that means this is an open circle. So I stop at -1, create an open circle, and I think about what numbers are larger than -1. That's 0, 1, 2, 3, everything to the right of it. So I would shade everything in this direction.